And if any of you guys ever worked in customer service before, you know that when customers are trying to talk to the manager, when they give their side of the story, they lie. Now, she might be lying. She might be truthful. Sarah Boone. Sarah Boone's trial is slated to happen in July of this year. And I think she's having a pretrial actually on July 11th. Her real trial is supposed to be happening, I think, July 24th. Although all the stuff that's coming out right now with her writing all these letters to the judge, she's claiming that she hasn't met with her lawyer. The lawyer is not being as on top as she thinks he should be. Maybe there will be another continuance. I don't really know if the trial is really going to happen in July. I don't know. I'm starting to have some doubts thinking maybe the trial will be pushed back again. As you guys may or may not know, Sarah Boone is someone that's really hard to forget. But you guys may also know her as the suitcase murderer. Sarah Boone is currently on trial for the murder of her boyfriend, Jorge Torres Jr. And there is a video that police ended up finding later on from her cell phone where it has her boyfriend in a suitcase, zipped up suitcase, and he's pleading to get out. And she's like, it sounds like she's kind of drunk. She's mocking him. And that video surfaced the internet and a lot of people saw it and were like, wow, this is disgusting. But I wanted to cover Sarah Boone and all the letters that she's written to the judge, her attorney. I think only one attorney has been receiving this correspondence. So you guys may have heard that Sarah Boone did have about, I think she's on her 6th or 7th lawyer now. I'm going to cover that as well, why she had so many lawyers. We're starting off with Sarah Boone. Okay, so let's start with her most recent letter that she wrote on, it was about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, May 15, 2023, to Judge Wayne Wooten. So that's the judge that's overseeing her case right now. Attorney Frank J. Bankowitz. Again, he is about, I think, the 6th or 7th lawyer that is working in her case. And she's also addressing it to the whole wide world. All of us here. Wow. Thanks for thinking of Sarah. So here we have, I already read this letter. I think all the other letters that I saw from her, I kind of just skimmed through them. But this one I did read. And dude, it is so interesting, very condescending, and you do get a taste of just a little taste of like narcissism in there, you know. But she's going to define us the word perspective. Perspective, Merriam-Webster's dictionary. Why, thank you. I wonder how many people are going to actually look up the definition to see if it's the same. I also wonder how many website hits the word perspective will get. Definition: 1, the science of painting or drawing so that the objects represented have apparent depth and distance. 2, the aspect in which a subject or its parts are mentally viewed. A view of things as objects or events in their true relationship or relative importance. Please review so everyone has a clearer, better understanding of my continued concern, hindrances, confusions, and questions and confusions with the justice, in quotations mark, system, and the solid, absolute remissness of my case and the due process of I am, and I have been waiting. Wait, hold on a second. I'm reading that into one sentence. Okay. Also, remissness. Is that a word? I know remiss is the word, but like the remissness, the absolute remiss of my case. I don't know if remiss is the word. Is it a word? Maybe it is. I'm maintaining what I can since no one else has, or well, it seems. And I feel like at this point, oh, fuck, am I jumping around too much? Okay. Absolute remissness of my case and the due process of, okay. I am and have been waiting very patiently. Okay, we'll see about that, Sarah. And maintaining what I can since no one else has, or well, it seems. And I feel like at this point, 6 attorneys later, this is all underlined, by the way, 6 attorneys later, 39 months that she's been sitting in jail, almost 3.5 years, which I will make, and not by choice. I need to make all aware of my immense struggle with this extreme mismanagement of my case to date. Let's look at a bigger picture or perspective. It's remiss, not remisses. She wrote remissness. And I was like, I don't think I ever heard of remissness before. Let's look at the bigger picture or perspective, underline, to get a better view of what I've had more enough time to see and realize. I'm hoping by doing so, eyes can finally be open and very overdue. Long for progress and finalization in capitalization can be had. The growing amass of ignorance, manipulation, slander, and advantageous gain must stop. My truth needs to be heard, and it is my right. Again, she's writing this letter to the judge. I wish we could see the judge's reaction while he's reading this at his at his desk. Do not give me rights, expecting me to not fully utilize them. I voted for the president and the governor while here in jail. Well, good for you, Sarah. And stop violating what I've been trying to utilize or lessen the value of my capabilities and opportunities. I am not apologetic in any way for being an observant, hardworking, above average, non-stereotypical inmate. I can only imagine, sadly, how others, not as outspoken as myself, have been and are being mistreated. You know, Sarah, what I do wonder is how many other inmates in there with you committed murder, or if they're there for other offenses. I can only imagine, Sally, how others, not as outspoken as myself, have been and are being mistreated, overlooked, and dehumanized. Get it together. Now she's addressing the judge right now. Judge Wayne C. Wooten. 1. This is all underlined. At what point do you evaluate and intercede in a case to make sure there is proper advancement, regular communication between the attorney and client, ethical treatment of client is being upheld, timeframes are being met, etc.? Clearly, you know of and have known of the prolongation of my difficulties from your comments regarding my letters, but with no intervention from you to change anything for a better, less problematic process. Again, this is her perspective, and we're only hearing from one side at the moment, okay? You told me in the past that when I tried to voice my legitimate concerns to you in the courtroom 5 times total in 3.3 years, and in my letters to save it for the next attorney, if told anything at all. Do tell, Your Honor, which attorney? Bullet points here. I'm on my 6th, whom I've not seen in person for over another 3-month period. Now she writes, to be clear, 12 weeks, 89 days. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much for emphasizing this. And counting, ... Another bullet point. Frank J. Bankowitz has been appointed as my attorney by the court to represent, in quotations, me in my case, and has been for 10 months and counting. Total approximate hours of representation, 7,200. Total times attorney met with client, Sarah Boone, 6. Phone numbers given to client by attorney, 2. Phone calls answered from client by attorney, 0. Yeesh. Outside sources calling attorney on behalf of client, 3. So she's getting other people to reach out to the attorney, maybe like her ex-husband or something. Does she have siblings? Family members? I don't know. I feel like we haven't really heard much about her family members. Taxi says, why are all these psycho killers keep writing complaint letters for her scenario, alleged alleged killer, writing complaints from prison? I won properly kosher food. Yeah, Letitia. Phone calls, emails, voicemails answered by attorney, 0. Letter client sent to attorney. I really do wonder though if she's just being hyperbolic. Like, is it really 0, or are you just trying to make a point here? Like, I don't know. We're only taking it from her word, her perspective, right? And if any of you guys ever worked in customer service before, you know that when customers are trying to talk to the manager, when they give their side of the story, they fucking lie. Now, she might be lying. She might be truthful. We don't know yet. Phone calls, emails, voicemails answered by attorney, 0. Letters, client sent to attorney trying to communicate, 7. Letters, defendant and client sent to judge trying to communicate, animate attorney in unsuccessfulness, 5. I think we do have all 5 letters, I think. 15-minute video visits between attorney and client, 3. Attended court dates scheduled, 2. It was an attempted withdrawal and some other on allowance to finally be included in my PTC, which was the same information carried over from all the others. Now what? Question mark. Number 2, in underline, why are you allowing / enabling my constitutional rights to be continuously violated? History lesson for everyone, ... First Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, Sixth Amendment, Eighth Amendment, 14th Amendment. 3, why am I being judged for my legitimate letters in order to know the status of my case or attorney? And how much longer before something substantial occurs in the progress of 3.3 years later, other than the appropriate prejudgments being made due to the excessive amount of my case information online, bigger and meaner? I don't really understand what she means by here. Bigger and meaner? She sounds like a fucking kid. Bigger and meaner lies about my case-sensitive details. Oh my God. In which I have not seen, that she does suck though. It kind of sounds like she's saying that she hasn't seen like a lot of the evidence. And even greater, mind-numbing, one-sided ignorance. If I didn't write my letters, would you or anyone be aware of my rightful concerns still ongoing? Is it a perpetual question mark over a defendant's head? The norm during a case due to inactivity, no communication, no help, intervention. Yeah, that kind of, if we're taking her word for it, it sounds pretty shitty. Or answers being given by anyone in the justice system. Honestly, what has been done about or with any of my letters other than being scanned, uploaded incorrectly? I made sure to correct. So, I mean, her letter was only scanned and uploaded once incorrectly. There's this one time where she wrote like a 3-pager, but the second page was on the back of the first one. So whoever scanned it didn't do double-side scanning. I mean, it only happened like once, but she's like, other than it being scanned incorrectly, I made sure to correct so everyone is up to speed on my case status. Unfortunately, it is all that I have to report at this time. Great. Number 4. Why are you allowing numerous case safety and protection elements to be breached, violated, and manipulated? I mean, where she's at right now, usually a lot of this stuff is public information unless there's something that's like really sensitive in there. I think like usually if it's like anything like involving like minors, like child abuse, stuff like that, that's going to be like confidential. The public won't have access to it. But like, yeah, all her stuff, like anything related to her case, it's all public. You don't even have to make a username, I don't think, to even access it. But her case and like a bunch of other people that's in there with her, all their shit is like public as well. You can look all their stuff up. But why are you allowing numerous case safety and protection elements to be breached, violated, manipulated? Why has a gag order never been implemented? I don't know. Why would they give her a gag order? My case has turned into an unnecessary witch hunt from the innumerable violation of my case details being leaked and racketeered illegally. Is it illegal? I'm not sure about that. It's giving DB. Oh yeah, maybe just a little bit, you know. I'm very interested to see her in court if we ever see that. If that ever happens. Okay, hold on. I gotta reread this. Witch hunt from the innumerable violations of my case details being leaked and racketeered illegally in exchange for website hits, viewer ratings, etc. In exchange for a $sign. Oh, that's a $3 rating on Yelp. What is your cut, Your Honor? I don't know why she would do this. Like, seriously, like, you're gonna accuse the judge that's overseeing your case. You're gonna accuse them of making money off of what? Like the YouTube videos, the law and crime court TV hits and like the news article, like all that stuff. Like, really? Doesn't seem very smart, Sarah. Like, I thought you said that you're an above average inmate at your prison that you're at, right? I'm pretty sure other inmates wouldn't write letters to the judge and accuse them of doing the shit. I don't think judges will like that. I don't know. What do you think, Sarah? So you choose who knows what, where, and how in your courtroom. When did court minutes become live? Are you the one who authorizes the upload to the internet? I mean, this is all like public information, so I don't know. Take the issue up with your state or something. It's all about how much rather than how did it happen? No matter the destruction cost in the meantime, and it is irreparable. It's not even about the suitcase anymore. No, it still is about the suitcase. The case is now a global event. With the video receiving over 3 million, I think she's supposed to put a dash there. Maybe she means like 3 million to 13 million hits, depending on the website. In turn, make me realize that's over 3 million less unprejudiced, unbiased, non-discriminatory, fair jurors. I mean, Sarah, if I want to be a little pedantic, technically not, because all 3 million, let's say if it was 3 million views, right? All of those 3 million viewers, they're not in your state. They're not in your county. And you said it's global. So global means what? Worldwide, right? So these are people from all over the world. But yeah, it's not like she lost 3 million jurors because all 3 million of those jurors do not live in her fucking state, do not live in her area. So no. There are people, like for me, like if I were to hit up some people, my family members, right? They don't follow true crime stuff. They don't know this shit. They're not going to be like, oh yeah, I definitely know who the suitcase murderer is. It's mostly like a group of us, we like watch true crime stuff, you know, we're going to hear about it, right? People who like follow like, you know, court stuff, random trial stuff. But there's going to be people out there that, you know, doesn't know shit about it because they don't care about true crime stuff. They don't care about the news. They don't care about any of that. But yeah, she's like, oh my God, I lost 3 million fair jurors. Like, okay, no, shut up. Fair jurors, I will have access on my case. How is that going to work? Now what? 5. Like what a brain dead take. 5. Factoring, important, private details should not be made ready and available for the world to know about before I, the defendant, does correct. I mean, she did like, I'm kind of curious what important details. I'm assuming maybe she doesn't have like maybe they've never shown her the suitcase video recording, maybe that we've seen. But she's the one who recorded it. She lived through it. I don't know. This is wrong. This is wrong, unconstitutional, unfair, and not how justice is supposed to work for anyone. I'm tired of having motives attributed to me that are unreal, assumed, and inappropriate. This is not legal. Number 6. This is what a trial is for, correct? All in caps. 7. At this point, what can even be rightfully suppressed in my case? Once you ring the bell, it cannot be unrung. It's already been heard and seen. I don't even know where the bell is or who's ringing. Okay, let me stop laughing. Oh, God. Sarah Boone's not the clearest, sharpest tool in the shed, but she thinks she is, though. She thinks it's the brightest crayon, the sharpest tool. Hi, Ricta. How are you doing today? Listen, if her attorney is like cucking her and not meeting with her, ignoring everything and not giving her updates and stuff, yeah, that is pretty fucked. Again, we're taking her word for it, right? 9. When is the next status hearing you stated would happen before my pre-trial? 7-11. My attorney's 1-year mark. Am I included? 10. What else can I do to ensure the productivity, communication, incorruptibility, appropriation, and intellectualism of my case? It is my right to know so I can begin or continue for true progress of any kind to finally be succeeded. I feel like, I don't know. Did she reread her letter? Maybe, you know what? Maybe like when you're in jail, you know, you got a limited amount of paper. You don't get pencils. You have to write in pen. So once you write it down, it's all and done. And you can't like, you know, maybe she didn't want to cross it out to make it look messy or anything like that. Because some of the shit that she's writing here is a little bit wonky. All right. So this is addressed to her attorney. Again, this is her 6th or 7th attorney. And then we're going to address why she has so many attorneys. Attorney Frank J. Bankowitz. Ooh, he gonna get it now. Hi, Chani. How are you doing today? Number 1, where are you? Our last in person was February 15, 2023. So 3 months ago. 2, when is our next meeting? Remember, please, there are still time-sensitive matters pressing. FYI, in the 10 months of your representation, here are the 6 meeting dates. I like how she writes 6 and then she has to write 6. Like this guy's an idiot. Meeting dates that have occurred so you can see my perspectively the massive time gaps in between while I have been sitting eagerly, waiting, wandering. 2022. So this is when... okay, so they met in July 14th. So he is a new lawyer. So again, Sarah Boone, the murder happened in 2020, I think in February 2020. She was arrested because she called it in. And then she had one attorney, or actually technically 2 attorneys, right? One attorney, and then like it went from public defender and she opted for the private defender instead. He stayed on the case for 2 years. Okay. He stayed on the case for 2 years. Something happened and irreconcilable differences. I don't know. Something fucking happened. Maybe Sarah got in his fucking nerves and he was like, you know what? I can't deal with this bitch anymore. I'm doing this pro bono. But after that, we had a couple of attorneys, you know, come in and out, in and out, in and out. But finally, we landed on the final attorney who was appointed to Sarah Boone on July 4th, 2022. Or I think it was like beginning of July. So he must have met with her like shortly afterwards. So we have July 14th, August 2nd, okay, August 22. So, okay, 2 weeks. And then I guess she hasn't heard from them in September, October, November, December, okay. 2023, we have January 20th is when they met up again. February 3rd, they met. February 15th, they met. March, April, May, nothing. 3, why aren't you fixing either of your 2 phones you gave me? Oh, it's because he gave you the phone number and then he probably just ignoring it. I don't know, man. Maybe he has issues with his cell phone. I don't know. Maybe bad cell reception or something. But, you know, I feel like he knows that she's calling. He's just like, yeah, I'm good on that. Why aren't you fixing either of the 2 phone numbers you gave me upon your appointment back in July 11, 2022? Every time I ask you about it, it's a different excuse. Much progress can be had in very expeditious manner if completed. Why has it not almost a year later? Why do you keep telling me to call when you know they don't work? As said before, do you guys remember back in the day where apparently girls would give guys like what's it called again? It was like a hotline, rejection hotline number or something like that. I don't know. Maybe guys did it to girls too. But like when you give someone their number and then you're like, oh, cool. And then like you call it, it's like the rejection hotline number. Yeah, it's pretty mean. Why do you keep telling me to call when you know they don't work? As said below, before, public defenders answers our call and reply to mail. Why are you unable or unwilling? See the difference it will make. I don't know. Maybe he'll have more of a headache. 4, our agreement made from one of my letters I wrote earlier this year after not hearing from you in a solid 5, again written 5 months prior, was to connect every 2 weeks with or without any significant progress. Why have you not been upholding this agreement, even in a 15-minute video visit? Remember, a phone call is another option and not as difficult technologically. A working number is needed, just one. 5, what are your I actually have not read this much. I only read to the part where it's addressed to the judge, so I have not read any of this. Okay, 5. What are your anticipated dates of completion for anything already discussed and will eventually? When do you actually show up for an in-person scheduled meeting? There are 1,000 little fires needing to be put out. You're holding the fire hose. Please see from my perspective, underline, the botch eye-rolling experience I am going through still, and how I believe anyone would act or do in my slides. In my slides? Wait, what? What does that say? Slides? Doing the same. What would you do? Do not fault me in trying to make the best, most successful outcome possible for myself in every aspect in a convoluted predicament I am in and have been in the past 3.5 years or 3.3 years. I would rather be called a narcissist. Pain in the ass, arrogant, strange, or whatever else anyone wants to waste their time to think of. Oh, she knows. Okay, she's hearing. She's listening to us. Narcissist, pain in the ass, arrogant. I didn't call her strange though. No, I feel like strange and weird is like maybe strange. I don't know. Just don't call me a murderer, which I am not. No one knows me except for the ludicrous insanity that's been made up, mocked, edited, and spewed all over internet. It's not me. Here's the thing. Listen, all the stuff that us internet folks have seen so far are things that are from her side of the story, her perspective, right? We saw the body cam footage. Do we get Jorge's side of the story? No, we didn't because he was dead. We just had hers, right? We had the interrogation. She was giving her side of the story, talking to the cops. Did we hear Jorge's side of the story? No, because again, what happened? He's dead. We did not hear his side of the story. All we've been hearing is her side of the story, her side of the story, her side of the story, her side of the fucking story. And do we like her side of the fucking story? No, because it sounded really fucking odd. It sounded like she was lying and she was trying to get out of it. So I'm so glad that we have the interrogation videos. I'm so glad that we have the body cam footages. I think those do tell a lot. Now, does it tell the whole picture? No, because, you know, they do have a history of like, I don't know, I think both of them were arrested at some point for abusing each other. And then I think Jorge was arrested like twice afterwards because they also got in an altercation as well and cops kept getting called. But they have a very tumultuous fucking relationship. However, even knowing, let's say we take the worst case scenario that like Jorge is extremely abusive. Like if we take that extreme scenario, right? Still, locking him up in a suitcase and he's begging to get out and she's sitting there laughing, whatever. And police notice that, hey, the suitcase looks like it's been flipped a couple of times. Like, that's still really disgusting. It's still really gross. Most people just be like, oh, reported the cops. Oh, cops won't do anything. I don't know. Then, like, it's tough, right? Get out of the relationship, move out, you know, do something. I don't know. It's tough. But, like, to just resort to just fucking killing them and putting them in a suitcase so they suffer to death and then act like, oh, you know, we're playing hide and go seek and I was drunk and I forgot about it. Like, yeah, it's pretty batshit insane for most people on the internet. We're going to be like, what the fuck is going on here? Yeah, I don't know. She might be the type of person who's going to take the stand. If she does, I do look forward to it. Okay. So she says she's not a murderer. It's not her. Okay. I'm hoping and praying my highly anticipated day will come whenever that will be. It's God's timing. I continue to wait smiling. You know, I could actually see her just sitting there smiling. We have one of her, I think there was like a mugshot that she had where she was smiling. Was it a mugshot when she was arrested for this? Might have been. She's like sitting there. She's like, I don't know. It's a little bit creepy. So yeah, I can totally picture her smiling. At least everyone will know I'm not sitting around eating bonbons, watching soap operas. Application is the product of the lesson. I think what she's doing is she's probably sitting there right now trying to get access to the internet, trying to read up everything she can about this case, trying to teach herself to be a lawyer. I don't know, man. I could totally see her doing that. I think it'd be hilarious if at some point, I wouldn't be surprised if she pitches, so, hey, I want to represent myself. You know, F all these lawyers. Give me my chance appropriately, correctly, and fairly in court. Unfortunately, my perspective of our justice system is incredibly dim and dull. I hope my overdue blinding light has shone brightly for all to see a glimpse of how it really works. And being a system, we all have to work together to function in unison. Please help see the difference I'm trying to be and make. Waiting and wondering, keeping it real. Now what? God, I don't know. Like, remember how Jorge was begging to get out? And he was like, Sarah. And she was like, yep, that's my name. Don't wear it out. Like, oh, dude, she's just like the cheesy type right here. Keeping it real. Oh, God. You hope she represents herself. Keeping it real. Now what? Sarah Boone. Oh, let me just write it one more time. Sarah Boone. Then we got Sarah Boone here. So this is her most recent letter that she wrote addressed to the judge and addressed to her. She said 6th attorney, so it might be 6th attorney. I thought it was like 6 or 7. But I do want to go back a little bit and let's look at the journey of all the other letters that she has written. Because I skimmed through some of them and I think like the first letter, it didn't sound as what's the word to describe it? Snarky, entitled, you know, it sounded like, okay, reasonable. She wants to know her update. But I guess like, you know, as each time has gone by, she's been getting, you know, increasingly more frustrated. But again, I only skimmed over this. Let's read it. You guys ready? I don't know. If she's saying that she's barely met with her lawyer and we take her word for it. Okay, remember, we take her word for it. That's an asterisk, okay? Yeah, I don't know. The trial's going to be happening in like less than 2 months. Hi, Cecilia. How are you doing today? How's it going? You need some 420 and a whiskey now. Damn, she's completely nuts. Okay, so let's go back to her. Should we go to her first letter? So again, I just want to paint the timeline. So arrested 2020. She's had 1 or 2 lawyer for about 2 years, right? Seems like everything was going smoothly. You know, things were happening. And then all of a sudden, lawyer number 2 was like, yeah, here's a motion to withdraw irreconcilable differences. And the judge approves it. And so other lawyers come in. And I think this is when her frustration really starts because she's like, wait a second, why are there so many lawyers withdrawing from my case? What's going on? And now I finally have this final lawyer and it seems like we're not really communicating with each other and she's getting frustrated. October 3rd, 2022. Again, she was appointed her final lawyer back in July of this 2022. So addressed to Frank, Orlando, Florida, Sarah Boone. Mr. Bankowitz, I am writing in regards to not hearing from you and becoming very concerned after receiving no response to any of my daily, she's been calling him every day, daily calls or from the letters I've sent. As of today, October 3rd, you have been my court-appointed attorney for almost 3 months. Again, she's going to be very specific here. 12 weeks, 84 days, and only spoken to me 3 times. On July 14, 2022, video introduction, 15 minutes. August 2nd, 2022, video update, 15 minutes. August 22nd, 2022, visit in person, 90 minutes. Okay. All right. I mean, so far it doesn't seem that bad, right? Okay. I've written 2 letters in the meantime. Also, my most recent I sent on September 12, 2022 with no response. I actually do want to know, how often do lawyers meet with inmates for updates and all that stuff? How often do they meet with them? How often do they do video calls? How often do they do phone calls? I do wonder that. I am unaware of the difficulties you are having in communications with me. Video, phone, letter, in person, especially via phone, which to me is the simplest form of doing so, even if it's just for a brief update, which takes only minutes. I believe by you giving me your personal cell phone, you are going to answer. Oh, no. He gave you the burner phone. I would at least know all is well and have a better understanding of the status of some things, what to plan on and what I may need to work on. With no communication makes my end more difficult, drawn out and painful. Please figure out whatever necessary for my phone calls to be answered, which you will be reimbursed for when you submit your costs. Why, thank you. It feels that this rate of communication and meetings and you just coming on board, not having all of my discovery to go over still on top of everything else to be done. I don't know if she knows that though. How does she know that he doesn't have all of her discovery to go over? Like, what if he already went over all of that? Like, how does she know that he doesn't? Or is she talking about like to go over discovery with her? It seems like she's just talking about like what he's reviewed. Not having all of my discovery to go over still, and on top of everything else to be done in depth, how much longer am I really going to be here? Added to the 32 months already. I don't know, Sarah. You might get life if you get a guilty sentence. Especially if we communicate. However, you eventually do only one time a month, sorry, if that. As for all of the month of September, I know nothing from not hearing from you. I understand you have other clients. Do you really? As I am also one, and you've been recuperating from your back. Oh, poor Lori got back pain or something like that. But remember, please, how long I've been here. You are my sixth attorney, not by choice. And the magnitude of my case with not knowing what's going on, where you are, and how much harder it is for me. I want to get on with my life, Mr. Bankowitz, and not miss any more time necessary for my son. I've already missed 4 of his birthdays. Yeah, you might miss more, Sarah. And spent 3 of my own in here. Please understand. I wonder how old her kid is. Trying to think. For some reason, I feel like elementary school. Was it mentioned the body cam footage? I know the dad was there. Man, I hope the kid didn't witness any of like the fucking abuse that went on between the two of them. No, 2, I am patient. Do you guys remember when the body cam footage of like the police showing up and she's trying to do her thing? She's trying to, you know, secure the scene and all that. And Sarah's over there like, oh my God, like I need my cigarettes. Can I get my cigarettes? Can I get my cigarettes? I need something to drink. I need something to drink. Can I get my cigarettes? I don't know, Sarah. I am patient. Although we could be seeing her at her worst time because, you know, she's stressed out. Her husband or sorry, her boyfriend had died by her own hands. But I don't know if we really think Sarah is patient. Clearly, after all the time I've already invested and still smiling, she just wants to make it. She makes sure she wants everyone to know that she's smiling. Okay, we ain't stressing her out. All the time she's already invested and still smiling and willing to go above and beyond whatever I need to do properly and truthfully convey my very convoluted, misunderstood side of everything, which I boldly told you in our meeting last month. Again, guys, her side of the story was they decided to. 2 adults were putting puzzles together. They were drinking and they decided to play hide and go seek. And he somehow zipped himself in a suitcase, left no gap. And she claims that she thought it was funny that there was a gap where she knew that he can get out of the suitcase if he wanted to. And she was like, you know what? I was drunk. I went upstairs. I went to sleep. I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I forgot that he's down there. Oh, and then she went to go check him and he was dead. That was her side of the story. However, cops were able to recover a video on her phone, and it was her pointing the camera at her boyfriend in the suitcase trap, laughing. And they're like, where do you see a gap where he could have gotten out? Why has the suitcase been flipped multiple times? It's on a different. Yeah, this is this is the same person. Okay, don't forget. Anyways, she's patient. She's smiling. Yeah, whatever. She wants her truth to be told. I'm so very grateful, Mr. Bankwitz, for you, all you're doing. I have done and will do. We're in this together and I'm so blessed. You are my attorney. God has put us in each other's paths for a reason. Man, Mr. Bankowitz is like, ugh. And I can't wait to see what you and he will do. I'm praying the 6th time, the charm. Please respond. I wait your response. Okay. So like, you know, decent letter. But again, we don't really know from his side of the story. So she's saying that like, okay, this is September or this is October now. They've only chatted 3 times. She's made some phone calls daily, which he's ignored. I do want to know why he doesn't just pick up the phone calls. I mean, phone calls are pretty quick though. Just pick up the phone call. Be like, hey, you know, nothing's really going on, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But maybe she's lying or maybe, you know, she's telling the truth. Next letter. So this is a letter from, this is about like a month later. Okay. November 3rd, 2022. Now we have the judge in here. She's probably not getting anything from the lawyer. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to CC the judge on this, okay? I'm going to tell on you. Drinking one now, Wilson 420. He was 9 at the time at the murder. Okay, I think like for some reason like I like knew that or remember that, but I don't remember where I heard it from. Was it from the body cam footage or something? They can suffer in a big garbage bin and also has wheels, so they can take her on the trip somewhere near the stairs where they would accidentally fall down because, you know, gravity. So much for his explosive temper. If he was so abusive, she knew she could get out. Why didn't she? He beat her after locking in the suitcase. I mean, sometimes it's just really tough to get out of relationships like that, right? It's, yeah, I don't know. It's not easy for people to just be like, oh, let's up and leave, right? You always like see like the good side of them. You always hope that, you know, they'll do better. But then we also don't know if he really was truly as abusive as she claims, right? It could be mutual or it could be mostly her. And yeah, I don't know. I think like in police reports, they both like had like bruises on them. but he was claiming self-defense and she was claiming that he was attacking, stuff like that. But we'll definitely go over that. I want to do like a timeline, maybe like in a different stream. Okay. So now we got the judge on there. Honorable Judge Wooten, forgive me in advance for having to utilize your invaluable time to ask the current progress of my case. But after not having any form of communication with my attorney appointed by you, now after 11 weeks and counting, after sending 4 letters to my attorney appointed by you with no response, and finally finding an outside resource to inform me of my uneventful, confusing filed documents online by my attorney appointed by you, I am still waiting with a perpetual question mark over my head. Okay, so far sounds all right. No letters, no video visits, no face-to-face visits, no answered phone calls from my attorney, or even a response from you, Your Honor, regarding one of my letters expressing my legitimate concern of what is going on in my case and where's my attorney. It has been over 4 months since being appointed another attorney, number 6, and not by my decision, influence, or choice, and almost 3 of the 4 months not hearing from said attorney. I don't know, maybe influence, because, you know, a couple of those attorneys put in irreconcilable differences. And I wonder if some of those attorneys are just like, this bitch is just too crazy to deal with. Like, I don't know, we can't agree on anything, but we don't know, right? I'm not hearing from my said attorney. August 22nd, 2022, last correspondence. Why? What is the reason? Why haven't I received a letter? Even a 15-minute video update, anything. Even after my PTC on 10/25 is what truly confuses me and nonetheless upsets me, the fact that I was not in attendance so I could know what's going on in my case, especially considering I have not heard from my attorney in 11 weeks and should have been included. Why was not? This is my case. Was Mr. Bankowitz even there to represent me? I don't know. Anything. Still. The problem is that my constitutional rights are incorrectly being waived without my knowledge or permission. I've never signed anything nor verbalized the idea I wish to waive my appearance to any of these court dates. I want to be present for all dates going forward, please, regardless of significance. All are significant to me since my attorney fails to relay any information in any way. If he's not going to, then I must myself and for myself, as always, my entire life. What else can I do? Who else can I seek help from? I have you and God, Judge Wooten. If I do have an attorney, where is he? There's so much to do all over my case. Hopefully the right way this time off is a rocky start, where I wonder how much more extended my time will be on top of the almost soon to be 36 months, 3 years already. Is this how the justice, in quotation marks, system works? Am I being penalized for wanting to be fully involved in everything in my case and intelligent enough to know how my case is being handled is unjust? And from my point of view, disastrous, considering I'm still sitting here in Orange County Jail, counting the days and praying my 6th attorney contacts me. I and we can move forward. Finally, coming to endure to end to this seemingly endless debacle. You would think, considering the circus show my entire case is being made out to be with all the hype, sensationalism, and the publicity. I received a letter all the way from across the pond, England, the other day. It would all be handled more professional, better. I learned something. I wonder what that letter from England was. Fan mail? Hate mail? It would be handled more professional, better. I learned something now every day about facts, events, outcomes in my case from all over the internet, from all the inmates and officers as well. I wonder if they might know where my attorney is. Bottom line, please understand, I don't want to be here any longer. I don't want to be hindered any longer in getting just to be starting in line again. I don't want to be suppressed in being heard. Finally, truthfully and correctly. Jesus, how long is this letter? So when Judge Wooten, when will I hear from my attorney? Or were you displeased with some sort of response other than a copy of my letters I keep saying, which I already have? In the meantime, it is my understanding the following documents have been filed in the case since the appointment of Frank Bankowitz, my attorney, MIA. July 11th, Bankowitz appointed. Okay, July 12th, pretrial order, pretrial set for 10/25, trial set for November 7th. August 29th, pretrial has been canceled. September 23rd, notice of unavailability from the state. 10/7, correspondence, my letter to Bankowitz. 10/12, correspondence to defendants, copy of my letter. 10/24, notice of appearance for what? Had 3 years ago, not guilty plea already filed. Waiver of appearance never signed or agreed to. Compensation for what? What's been done? 10/25, substituting conflict counsel. Who is my attorney? 10/25, pretrial stuff. And then, so pretrial's been rescheduled and then trial's been rescheduled right there. That's it. In almost 4 months, I've been a client of Mr. Bankowitz. This is my only progress. What's next? Where are my copies of everything filed? Ever. This is one way I can have some sort of idea what's happening. And please remember, I have no access to a computer nor any reliable outside resource to check on for me. Please mail copies. I'm trying to come up with any solution possible to keep me and the other party in my case informed and updated. This is also part of the court's responsibility. I would especially think, knowing I've not heard from my attorney in any way for 11 weeks, I want to be included. Okay, we're almost done. Woo. Hi, Mar. How are you doing today? How's it going? 7 attorneys that backed out from her due to irreconcilable differences. Not all of them were due to irreconcilable differences. Some of them was like conflict of interest, and then some of them were just like kind of unknown. But yeah, I definitely want to go over that as well. As always, I thank you for your time and understanding. Please help however you are able. I am not helpless. I am not ready to get this show on the road and to hear from someone other than myself asking the same question over and over and over. What's going on in my case? Or how many more pens will I exhaust asking? Grateful and patiently waiting. I await your response. Sincerely, Sarah Boone. All right, that's Sarah Boone right there. All right, so our next letter. Oh, geez. Yeah, more. Her handwriting, actually, I feel like does it get better and better? Maybe it's the pen that she's writing in. I feel like her handwriting just gets like better and better. Oh, this is the one that we just read, right? Okay. Yeah, we got this one. All right, next. We're jumping to, this is about a month and a half later. Or no, a month later. December 5th, 2022. Back to the judge. Summary of progress. Numbers only. It's all I have. 1. Since appointed by court, Frank J. Bankowitz, attorney number 6, July 11, 2022. 21 weeks, 147 days, and counting. I love how she's doing like 147 days. Since number 2, since last spoke to Frank J. Bankowitz, attorney number 6, August 12, 2022, 15 weeks, 105 days, and counting. Number 3, since pretrial conference, no response from attorney or court, October 25th, 2022, 6 weeks, 42 days, and counting. 4, since my last letter to the judge regarding MIA attorney in case, November 3rd, 2022, 4 weeks, 32 days, and counting. 5, total hours of time represented by Frank Bankowitz. Oh, Jesus. 3,528 and counting. Total hours of time spent with client Sarah Boone, 2 hours. Yeesh. Where is my attorney? Where are you, Judge Wooden? I understand the holiday mode everyone is in as we inmates sit and wait for it to pass. But before we come to the end of another year, almost 3 for me in OCCD, it would be respectable of the court to please advise the status and location of my attorney foremost and also provide any real progress of my case, which is difficult to do and further without an attorney. Nonetheless, after being appointed so many, I thought hopefully the level of dysfunction would be lessened. Unfortunately, to date, I am sadly mistaken and feel I have been severely misled. Even more unfortunate, it seems to be a lack of representation from any party of my case other than myself. Look at the numbers. In the meantime, and in preparation for the upcoming status hearing on 12/20 at 10:45 a.m., which I just received notice for, thank you for the inclusion. I'm in the process of writing to our governor regarding the mismanagement of my case and the multiple added obstacles and deterrents I am experiencing, trying to avoid any further time-consuming hindrance or setbacks going forward. Oh man, I need to... She can ask DB to represent her. Oh, dude. DB can represent. Letitia will be the one that provides the lie detector. Okay, she'll get the polygraph. Hi, Kate. How are you doing today? Hi, Fire Drake. How's it going? Some of the major legitimate concerns of mine are the violations of my constitutional rights, the degree of neglect and nonchalant approach by everyone in my case to substantially progress, and the illegal, non-permissive release and distribution by Orange County Sheriff's Department of crucial confidential case files, videos, photographs, documents, etc., pertinent to my case, which I have not even seen or even know about. Everyone knows more than I do about my case. As a result, it is impossible to choose a jury that will be impartial, fair, and uninfluenced by the mutated, exaggerated, hyped sensationalism. This is a significant reason I've requested a change of venue previously. At this point, it will make no difference. There's nowhere I am not known. Okay, she is just like, this is going into her fucking head way too fucking much. Okay, in the law and crime community, yeah, of course we know who Sarah Boone is, but like normal people who don't watch law and crime stuff, who don't watch trial stuff, like they don't know who the fuck Sarah Boone is, okay? Maybe like a couple of stragglers here and there. The premature, unfair judgment by everyone has wrongfully and inappropriately already been made. I haven't been seeing my discovery or know where my attorney is, my 6th attorney. Not only am I, the other party in my case, still in the dark with everything, I am blind in the dark. This is wrong, unfair, especially for a still proud citizen of the United States of America, and unacceptable. There is more to everything, much more, and in which I have been patient to an extreme to explain, interpret, and educate what now seems to be the whole world. I am forever hopeful the governor will be able to untangle the chaos and mistreatment. I wonder if the governor wrote back to her. No one else seems to be available or willing to abide the protocol of our justice system, rightfully and eagerly apply themselves. I'm hoping these aforementioned topics can still be further discussed at the hearing on the 20th, and which I am bringing to everyone's attention prior. I have not heard from my court-appointed attorney to date, so I'm unaware what else may have been on the docket. It's finally time to move forward in all the right ways. Happy holidays, Sarah. All right, this is addressed to her lawyer. Mr. Bankowitz, I am also sending a direct copy to you in case the court and or judge does not, therefore giving no reason of any unsurety of my ongoing concerns regarding having no communication from you in any manner for almost 4 months. I believe the court and or judge would have been sending copies to you all my letters to them, but since I have been unsuccessful in receiving a response or update by their side also, I'm taking upon myself to make sure everyone is aware I'm still sitting here waiting for you. Please respond. I look forward to seeing you at the hearing, if not before then, with very much overdue anticipated progress. Thank you, Sarah Boone. I do wonder, where is her lawyer? What is up with him? Something going on with him? So what you guys don't know, December 5th, 2022, okay? I think about like 3 weeks after this letter, 3 weeks after this letter, this happens. December 19th, so about 5-6 days before Christmas. Motion to withdraw as counsel comes now. Frank J. Bankowitz, counsel for the defendant in the above styled cause. Number 1. On or about July 11, 2022, the undersigned was court appointed to represent the defendant in the above styled causes. 2. Due to irreconcilable differences which have arisen between the undersigned and his client and his family, the undersigned will be unable to effectively and properly continue representing the defendant hereon. Yeah. Unfortunately, Frank, you know, he was hoping that he'd be 6th lawyer and she'd have like a 7th one. Unfortunately, the judge denied this motion. The judge denied this motion, and yeah, Frank, you have to be her lawyer. Suck it up. Good luck. I feel for you. Yep. I don't know. That sucks. So yeah, I think Frank was hoping like, please, judge, please. And the judge is like, nah, your motion has been denied. So yeah, he's their lawyer now. So kind of interesting. I do wonder though, like what is going on with the lawyer and Sarah Boone. All right. So after the motion was dismissed, it seems like things started to move on, you know, along as usual. Sarah sounds pretty chipper and happy. January 10th, 2023. All right. Letter to Frank Bankowitz. Mr. Bankowitz, hello and Happy New Year. I hope the holidays were lovely and very memorable for you and your family. I just wanted to check in as I have not heard from you since the status hearing back on, hold on a second. How many? January 10th, and she has not heard back. So they had a status hearing on December 27th. I guess things were kosher between the two of them. And now she's like, I haven't heard back from you. What's going on? And want to confirm you are still my attorney after your motion to withdraw was filed on December 19, 2022. I wonder if when they met up on, when they heard from each other on December 27th, I wonder if she knew that maybe like 10 days before that, he put in a motion to withdraw. I wonder if she knew at the time or if she found out after the fact. It is my understanding you are, which is why I'm writing to you directly, but also including Judge Wooten for fear I did not receive a response like the almost last 5 months, 21 weeks, 147 days. You don't have to write this. Like, this is so unnecessary, but whatever. It is very important to me. You are aware of my questions and concerns for the anticipated pre-trial conference on January 17, 2023. If you're unable to speak to me, oh, that's why she wants to talk to him. Okay. If you're unable to speak to me beforehand, which I'm very much hoping you will be. Unfortunately, I am unsure what else to inquire about as I'm unaware of any of the progress going on in my case. In the meantime, please see below and thank you in advance for the information and clarification. All right. Number 1, pre-trial conference, Tuesday, January 17, 2023. I would like to be in attendance. What time, please? I have not received a notice via mail or heard from you to ask, and no time was stated during the status hearing. Please make the necessary arrangements for me to be included. It is my right. Number 2, waiver of appearance. Please mail or bring the appropriate documents to unwaive my appearance going forward to everything I am able to be included on, so I'm kept updated with any of my status of my case. Dude, she is so demanding. Do this, do that for me, do this. I am unable to be included on, so I can get blah, blah, blah. It is my right. Please note, I have not signed any paperwork for you since the start of my representation, July 11, 2022, as my attorney. So I'm unclear how my right to appear was waived in the first place, nor have I verbally given permission for the waiver either. All right, what else has she said? Waiver of appearance. Please bring me this, bring me that. She has not signed any paperwork for you since the start of representation. 7/11/2022 as my attorney. So I'm unclear how my right to appear is waived in the first place, nor have I verbally given permission for the waiver either. Please provide the signed copy at your earliest convenience. Number 3, reason for withdrawal. I was not made known by you as my attorney or stated by the judge to the court during the status hearing. Oh, so she didn't know. She found out completely afterwards. I was completely blindsided and still massively confused for the attempt, as our attorney-client relationship hasn't been established from the 2 hours we have spoken out of the now 4,536 hours. And the general information it was what we actually did. If you had genuine, legitimate concerns, I thought from a professional, moralistic standpoint, you would have discussed it with me, or at least mentioned, rather than being uncommunicated for almost 6 months, an entire half of another year, for me just sitting here with nothing to show but the perpetual question mark still over my head. I would have hoped that if you were unable to maintain your workload, which so presently includes me as your client, you would not have made the decision to take on my case and even give me the selling points on all of your capabilities and resources. Why? Please help me understand. We're supposed to be working together and for each other rather than against. It worries me futuristically. Also, I have not to date received a copy of your withdrawal. Judge Wooden said I was included on when reading the certificate of service during the hearing. Please provide me a copy. Maybe this lawyer just really sucks. Phone account. It was previously told to me by you in our one in-person meeting that you already had this set up and were having your assistant look into so we could use. After not answering any of my calls, the few I did make an attempt to touch base with you to provide request information you asked me for, I stopped calling you, Mr. Bankowitz, and have not to date since September 2022. I kept hoping you would call me or set up a visit, even for 15 minutes, which has not even happened. Please help me understand why you gave me your personal cell phone number. Also, to clarify for you, the judge, etc., I did not avidly search for the statements regarding for your public reprimands in 2015 and 2018. What? In an attempt to speak with you from no response to my letters or calls, cells or office, when have someone look up my contact alternative and to confirm your address from a letter I sent that was returned, then resent, the reprimands were discovered and for the same complaint as mine. Lack of communication. Oh, interesting. During the status hearing, when I made this known, I was not in the clear in the end if you were going to actually set up again the phone account to be used, which any and all of the callers, inmates must have established in order to speak to family, friends, attorneys, anyone. It is nothing new or extra, and all the costs incurred can be submitted for payment to the court as you have done in the past already. This is not how attorneys communicate with their clients here in OCCD. Another option in addition to 45 minutes video visits, 15-minute at-home visits, in-person visits, and of course, a postal service. It would definitely make sense to use avoidance of even more time being exhausted in the length between any visits in the future, which will already help to progress everything. Will you be utilizing? Poor George had to listen to this woman every day. Oh, I mean, Jorge. Number 5, discovery case materials. In the status hearing, you stated you have 2 boxes of information that are out of order and unorganized. Have you organized and reviewed? How long have they been in your possession? When will we be going over? It is extremely concerning this is all you have. It has been said there were 3, 5, 6, a ton from some of the attorney prior in my case. Which is it? What is there? 3 years later, I'm still wondering. I've also put in numerous hours, pages, pen ink of my information, which I'm praying is in either in the boxes you currently have. Please let me know as the cited, what does that say, guys? Amount of even more time to locate, receive, review. Anything missing from everything received before then withdrawing will most definitely be extreme. I don't know what you have. I also could exist in organizing what you have, considering it's all part of my case. I'm eagerly waiting and have more than willing to help with this and everything else. I just need to see what's going on, which I have yet to 3 years later. Number 6, prosecutor. Is there a new one in my case? I noticed his attendance during the 3 status hearing attempts and came to the conclusion there is. Since you've not communicated with me this or any information, nor any announcement made by the court, I don't know. If not, if so, what is his name? What is his background? Mr. Bankowitz, you must understand how insignificant I have been made to feel with this never-ending debacles, hurdles, stumbling blocks I have and going through and still facing since becoming incarcerated. No one seems to listen, ever. I refuse, absolutely refuse to believe this. My entire experience to date really is how our justice system operates. I refuse because, as said to you, Judge Boone, the court, to everyone else in the status hearing, and to everyone who truly cares, my reason is hope. Never ending, no matter what. Hope. This is being the entire reason I'm here for my incarceration. Nothing's impossible with God, and I await my day to say my truth and side of everything. Please don't give up. I have not and will not ever. I await your response. Always, Mr. Bankowitz. Thank you. Okay, that was from, what was that from? January, right? Okay, January. This is from 2.5 months later. I'm assuming she's probably not happy. Okay, let's see what's going on. Mr. Bankowitz, this is my third letter trying to reach you over almost another 6 months, 6-week period now. The same 2 phone numbers you've given me still do not work. The one number, your personal cell, goes to voicemail directly and doesn't even ring. I've had this number since you personally gave me back in July 2022 upon your appointment. The one number, your personal cell, goes to voicemail directly and doesn't even ring. I've had this number since you personally gave it back to me in July 2022 upon your appointment as my attorney by the court. Not working still 8 months later. Yikes! What is going on? The other number rings and rings and rings until it automatically disconnects me. Not working either. This also is the number you continually tell me just needs to be activated. Wait, what? Please activate. I even in my desperation to speak with you had an outside caller try to reach you on my behalf who tried calling your office 3 times over the last almost 3 weeks, leaving a voicemail each time with no reply. We're both hoping you're able to reply to her email she sent today as another form of trying to communicate with you. I've exhausted my resources. Oh, I wonder who's this friend that's trying to help her. I've exhausted my resources, and again, just sitting here waiting for you to contact me in whatever way you are able, and as soon as possible, please. Time-sensitive matters are at hand, as I have made you aware of previously, verbally, and in my letters. I know you've attempted to schedule the minimum 15-minute my pre-trial conference. I found out is now March 31st, which you said previously for whatever the reason, I am unable to attend any of these conferences. How am I supposed to know what's going on and what you are reporting and what is being discussed between all of the parties except me? The main component of my case, especially if we are still in a still unestablished attorney-client relationship, are not in regular and proper communication with one another. Why can I not be in attendance at a participation in my pre-trial court? How else am I supposed to be kept updated in real time and actual minutes during the conference if not there myself? I have no way of knowing anything if not updated by you, my attorney, and do not have a computer to use or view myself. Help me understand, please. How can court TV, different news channels, and even professional YouTubers attend my pre-trial? I don't think we watched it though. Pre-trial court stuff, and I cannot. I want to look it up now. Is it up? Let me see. Hold on a second. I'm kind of curious. Does court TV have it? Sarah Boone pre-trial. Oh, did you guys hear about Cousin Eddie? Apparently Cousin Eddie gained like 30, 40 pounds while being in jail. And people were like, how do you gain weight in prison? Well, I was thinking maybe Cousin Eddie did a lot of drugs or something when he was not in prison. And now that he's in prison, he doesn't have access to drugs. And he's like, you know what? I guess I should eat. I don't know. But I thought that was kind of interesting. What's up with the lawyer? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, do we want to take her word for it 100%? Maybe it's like 50 true, 50 false. But like, yeah, I don't know. It sounds pretty fucking bad. If you want to believe Sarah. Yeah. All right, let's finish this and then we'll watch Sarah Boone stuff, okay? I'm sure one of the other parties can help me with the updates since they will all be in attendance. For me also, should you be unable to provide, why can I not be included in my pre-trial conference for my case? I'm sure also everything from the conference collected from everyone else will be vomited all over the internet, just like everything else I've seen, non-permissively, and can be added even more dysfunction and ignorance to my pre-judgment already made by the world in the great court of public opinion. I would like to be a part of the case, seeing this as it already pertains to me. Please, it is my right. So many questions, concerns, piling and piling for not being. Okay. And it'll be a good break from reading too, because my throat was like... All right, let me just drag this over here. How are you guys doing? How's it going?
Call up Miss Boone's case.
State of Florida versus Sarah Boone, 2020 TF 2603. State of Florida.
Andy Cacciatore on behalf of the state.
Defense.
Frank Bankowitz.
Oh, Frank is in there. Hey, Frank, let me see what you look like.
Let's go ahead and swear Miss Boone in.
May you please raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Morning, ma'am. Tell me your name and your date of birth.
Sarah Boone, October 10th, 1977.
All right, we're here for pretrial conference today. Mr. Cacciatore, where do you stand in preparing to proceed forward to trial?
State's ready, Your Honor.
Mr. Bankwitz, where do you stand in regards to preparing
I'm
for
sorry,
trial?
the defense is not ready. We're requesting a continuance. We are having difficult time finding an expert who's willing to work for the JAC rates. And so I'm still, it's essential.
I wonder what expert they're looking for. I saw that they hired a, let's see. They have some extras so far. They have like a domestic violence psychologist. They have a private investigator, forensic expert, electronics expert, and some other experts as well. So I wonder what expert they're trying to look for.
Part of the case, basically. It's never been initiated before by any of the prior attorneys that I'm aware of.
Hey.
In broad terms, what's the nature, what's the
That is
field?
spouse defense.
Okay.
Statutorily, we have to give the state notice, sufficient time, and name of the expert and the essential elements that they'll be testifying to.
Okay. Mr. Cacciatore, what's your position in regard to the defense request for continuance?
I would have no objection to another role.
So, Mr. Bankwitz,
Hey, Brenda.
how deeply have you plumbed the depths of the pool of experts in this field to find out or find one who's willing to work for the JAC rate?
Well, I've actually talked to three, and they don't have contracts with JAC and are not willing to work with JAC.
This is the judge that's receiving her letters. Here's the lawyer that's receiving her letters.
And I've made some other inroads with battered woman shelters, trying to get their psychologists, who'd be willing. Problem is willing to testify, basically.
Okay. Because of the concern about the compensation rate for testimony?
Well, that's one of the things. And to be honest with you, this case has had so much notoriety that people don't want to be involved.
Okay.
Okay, fair point.
So, Mr. Bankwitz, I'm certainly willing to give you additional time based on my understanding of the case. I understand why that would be a defense the defense would want to explore about potentially presenting. What I'm not sure about is whether the inability to find an expert forever delays the trial of the case.
I wouldn't expect it to be a forever delay, Judge. And you know me better than that.
Mr. Cacciatore, well, I just want to make sure everyone in the room understood that, I'll give reasonable amounts of time to prepare a defense. The defendant's entitled to an adequate defense, but they're not necessarily entitled to the exact defense they would prefer to have if resources were unlimited. So, Mr. Cacciatore, remind me, where are we as far as lining up your various homicide cases for trial?
Hey, Daniela.
I know we have some things set to go to trial in the June trial period.
Yes, we have both Mr. Herlong and Mr. Sowell set for then. And then as far as this trial period, we have Mr. Hall and potentially Mr. Ofori as well. If I could ask of the defense, because I think it would make a difference in the timing of the continuance in this case, does the defense intend to hire an expert to testify generally as to the precepts and the things that go along with battered spouse syndrome, or do they intend to hire an expert that will evaluate Mrs. Boone and want to comment on her directly? And the reason I ask that is because I think the case law is clear that if it's the latter thing, then the state is entitled to have her sit down with our own expert to be evaluated as well. So that would obviously take more time if that is going to be the path they're going to go.
Are you in a position to distinguish?
Number two is definitely what we're looking at, Judge. Although number one would be incorporated in that as far as their general ability and their expertise in the area.
Would you agree that if in fact you retain an expert and they're going to opine specifically on Ms. Boone's state of mind at the time of the incident, that opens the door for the state to also have an expert? All right.
Most definitely.
That will be a very interesting testimony to listen to.
So here's what I am, and Mr. Cashflow, let me ask you this. Let's say that turns out not to be an issue. We're not going to have two experts. How long would it otherwise take you to present your case? Just rough idea.
I would say 3 days.
Really? 3 days?
And other than this potential defense, Mr. Bankowitz, and is that including jury selection, Mr. Cacciatore?
No, well, I probably 3.5 days with jury selection.
All right. And Mr. Bankowitz, other than this potential defense, if we picked a jury in 1 day, the state presented their case in 2.5 days, how long do you anticipate a defense presentation would be at this point?
I would say at least 3 days.
Okay.
Wow. Potentially short trial.
So here's what I'm thinking.
I think you're right about the expert hunt, because I was thinking, does this also apply? Did this also happen in the defamation trial? But I think it's slightly different, because I think in this case it's like, well, if you're going to get an expert to opine about Sarah's mental well-being, that means that the state can also get someone as well. And I was like, oh, did that also happen in the defamation trial? But no, I think the defamation trial was like Amber Heard was claiming that she suffered immensely from Johnny's abuse and that she had like some mental issues. And so she wanted an expert witness to talk about that. And then because she mentioned that opened the gate that opened the door for Johnny Depp's team to be like, oh, well, we can hire someone to evaluate you as well. And I think when they tried to evaluate Johnny Depp, they couldn't, because Johnny Depp didn't say that he had any like mental issues from being in a relationship with Amber Heard. But yeah, I think that's different. I was thinking like maybe it was the same, but I was like, nah, I think it's different.
I'll grant the continuance. I'm thinking continuing out to the July 11th pretrial, July 24th trial period.
How long is that trial period, Judge? I have a time certain death penalty case in Lake County starting the second week in August.
That's a 3-week trial period, so it would be the week starting Monday, July 24th, Monday, July 31st, and then the last week of the trial period would be Monday, August 7th.
Okay, 3-week trial period. Okay.
That's when I'm scheduled to start picking a jury in Lake County.
Well, let's do this. I want to set it for that date. That way you'll have a much better idea of what's actually happening on your death penalty case in Lake County. I understand that they're priority cases, but I also know that they're the cases where if a problem comes up, no matter what a judge has said before, they're likely to allow the case to move because they don't want to try it twice.
Just to advise the court, this case had to be continued at the last minute because of one of the attorney's wives basically had a stroke. And so it was a week before we were scheduled to start in that case. But Judge Davis up there, now that has, I won't say resolved itself, but is in a better position. Judge Davis has advised all of us that we're going, quote, come hell or high water.
See, I try not to say things like that because I feel like I'm just tempting
Well,
fate.
that's just Lake County, Judge. What do you expect?
Well, having never worked there, it means nothing to me. So,
What happens in Lake County? Who lives in Florida in here? What's up with Lake County?
I'll grant the change July 11th pretrial, July 24th trial period. And let's go ahead and do this. While I'm giving July 11th as the date, let's go ahead and have the lawyers reach out to my judicial assistant and just like we did this time, schedule
A status.
a status separate, unique date for pretrial so that I have, y'all have my undivided attention when we talk about the case. I don't have 97 other lawyers tapping their fingers, waiting to get to me.
Sounds good, Judge.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Ms. Boone, we return to the Orange County Jail pending further order of the court. And Mr. Banquets, you can electronically file the motion to continue,
Yes, sir, we will.
and the court minutes will say it's granted. All right.
Thank you, Judge.
Have a good day.
You too.
I wonder if she's already talked to the judge. Don't hear anything from her. Oh, wait, I see her picture. You see her picture right there? I think, is that the one where she's smiling in it? She's got like two mug shots that's up right now. One where she's smiling, one she's kind of like doing this like death stare. All right, well, we didn't hear anything from her.
All right, let's go.
Let's go back to the docs really quick. We have a couple more letters to read from Miss Sarah Boone. This was written a week before the hearing that we just saw. Now, this is going to be like, what, 2 weeks after? 2 weeks after. To whom it may concern, the enclosed letter I sent on March 22nd, 2023 was scanned incorrectly. Oh, shit, was it? Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so I read this one and... Okay, yeah, it was cut off. Oh, man, what did we miss then from the middle? Is it this part right here? Page number 2. Okay. I knew you have attempted to schedule the minimum 15-minute video calls twice within the last week. The first having technical difficulties and canceled. And then the second one was a no-show. Ooh. What it seems to be is every time on your end, whatever the disconnect is, I am extremely frustrated and worried not being able to communicate with you, even just sometimes, especially when there are very important, pressing discussions needing to be had already, but have not from no means of successful communication. Mr. Bankwitz, why do you have phone numbers? Why do you have 2 phone numbers that still did not work that you've given me over 8 months ago? And you keep telling me to call. Neither work and have yet to be answered. Why are you not responding to any of my letters? 3 so far this year. Why are you unable to correctly set up a video call if you're even on the call? Please know, even though I'm temporarily an inmate and incarcerated, I do have a schedule with classes, dorm trustee duties, and medical appointments, which I have been excused from for nothing. Please fix the connection. Problem. Promise to, remember to, please. I am just sitting back in the starting line barely with you as my attorney, and I have yet been able to even speak to you on the phone. I am genuinely concerned with your numerous promises you have made and even suggest yourself that will and can be done, but they do not yet. I need your help and have graciously offered to, but when? Please. Okay, that's the part that we missed. This is her realizing that, oh, snap. The letter didn't scan properly, so let me write another letter. So this letter is written, oh no, sorry, it was scanned on 4/14, but it was actually written maybe like 3 days after the hearing that we just saw. Okay. Scanned correctly. She's resending it to avoid any confusions, blah, blah, blah. I also received a copy of my copied letter today with only 2 pages included, or my letter is even being read. I wrote 4, but only 2 were copied, uploaded, and mailed. Clerical error. An update while already contacting you. Mr. Bankwitz has not met with me personally face-to-face ongoing now for 2 months, 8 more weeks. The phone number is given. Wait, but didn't they talk at the trial that happened a couple days ago? Does that count? He has not met with you personally face-to-face ongoing now for 2 months, 8 more weeks. The 2 phone numbers given still do not work or his office phone. Unanswered. When someone trying on the outside. Judge Wooden, can you please have Mr. Bankwitz fix the phone problem? He asked me for information, some critical and time sensitive, which I complete expeditiously for him, but then have no way to relay successfully, in turn hindering progress and creating even more discussion. A 15-minute video visit when he actually does schedule and it does work. Even PDs answer their phone calls. Police departments? I've yet been able to speak to my court-appointed attorney on 2 phone numbers for 9 months. Wait, but you just saw each other at the hearing. Did y'all not talk at the hearing? I don't know if I'm able to believe her 100%. See, I don't know. Do we take Sarah's side of the story 100%? July 11, 2023 is my 1-year mark, another milestone while I'm here with Mr. Bankowitz, my attorney. It is also my next pre-trial conference. Will I be able to attend and be included as I was previously at the last time? Thank you. Please also include me in the status hearing you mentioned to the court during the last conference, which is supposed to be happening sometime prior to the next pre-trial conference in July. I am still waiting patiently and respectfully. 6,480 hours later, with Mr. Bankowitz, my attorney, waiting for him to contact me and hoping just one of his phone calls will finally work so we can pick up speed to provide significant progress of my upcoming meeting. Thank you for reading my entire letter and uploading it correctly for all the world to read also, critique, and judge wrongly and incorrectly as usual. Ignorance is bliss. I wonder what platform of popularity I will be featured on next and how much wasted time, effort, and thought will be put into mutating and grossly exaggerating my case information, racketeered to the World Wide Web. SMH, run with it. I wonder too if I have a panel of letter readers dedicated to all the ones I've written. Enjoy, there's more to come. Shout out to my supporters, heart tag. Everyone is waiting, ... not on me, ... hopefully, no matter what, Sarah Boone. Yeah, Vom. So this is her rescanning the letter that we already read. And I think, are we up to date now? I think we are. We are. Okay, now we're up to date to all of her letters right there. Dude, I can't wait to see her in trial. It's going to be very interesting. Plain Jane. All my supporters. I don't know. Do you think Sarah Boone has like a little army of hybristophiliacs, you think? Murdoch apparently does. I don't know. Sarah, maybe. You never know. I feel like some people like to have, I don't know what's the proper term for it, but rescue syndrome, where you have someone that you know needs help and they have no one else to turn to. So you kind of want to be the hero for them. And you're like, oh, make yourself feel better. So I don't know. Is that what hybristophiliacs are? People just have rescue syndrome, fix it syndrome, think they could fix people. You would think she was the murder victim in all of this. Yeah, like I said, like we heard from her side of the story. Okay. The body cam footage, the interrogation, and we haven't heard from Jorge or George's side at all. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce, but we haven't heard from his side at all. All we've heard is from her side of the story, her attitude, her. And she's like, oh, my story hasn't been out there for the world. You guys are all judging me. Yeah, she does have like we do have to wait for the trial to happen for her to be deemed guilty or not guilty, right? But from the stuff that we've seen so far, it's pretty fucking bad. It's pretty yikes. It would be a different story if, if he was alive, if the victim was alive today and she was arrested and he's going on a world tour giving his side of the story and she hasn't been able to say anything and people are already judging her and she hasn't had a word or anything out there for the public. But the reason why a lot of people are disgusted by her is because we have the body cam, we have the interrogation video, and now we have these fucking letters. But more importantly, we have the video that she recorded on her freaking cell phone because she's an idiot. Fucking idiot. I don't know. I still think it's really funny how she calls herself a above average inmate. It's like an above average inmate. I wonder how many other inmates in there are in there because they committed murder. How many other inmates are there writing these letters to the judges complaining that the judge is taking a cut of all the YouTube videos and the internet hits or whatever, or the website hits and all that stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure all of them know that, like, rule number 1, you don't piss off the fucking judge. Okay. You don't accuse the judge of making money on the side for all this shit show that's going on. But yeah, she's above average inmate, guys. Above average.